But the Democrats are saying that the Republicans are destroying governmental norms. What was the big norm that was destroyed yesterday by President Trump? The big norm that was destroyed yesterday by President Trump is that Trump says he wants a military parade. So according to CNN.com, he has asked the military for a parade, and the Pentagon is reviewing potential dates. So the White House press secretary, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, she said in a statement, Trump had asked the Defense Department to explore the idea. She says, President Trump is incredibly supportive of America's great service members who risk their lives every day to keep our country safe. He has asked the Department of Defense to explore a celebration at which all Americans can show their appreciation. And the Washington Post reported last month that Trump wanted a military parade. Apparently, he visited France, and he really liked the Bastille Day military parade. He said last September in a conversation with the president of France, Macron, that when he came back from France, he wanted a military parade on the 4th of July in Washington. There are a lot of people who are looking at this and saying, well, why do we need a military parade? I mean, number one, it costs a lot of money. Number two, the idea of tanks rolling down American civilian streets when we haven't just won a war, we're not actually celebrating anything, or not on Memorial Day or not on Veterans Day, is kind of weird. Like to just randomly do a military parade in the middle of Washington, D.C. so that Trump can stand there and look over the troops that he commands seems kind of not an American thing. Like the last military parade we had in the United States was 1991. That was after the Gulf War, after we won the Gulf War, and George H.W. Bush had a military parade so we could celebrate the returning service members. We had a couple back in the 1960s. We had one under JFK. There's one under FDR, which is really creepy because there's actually like a giant head of FDR, like a giant bust of FDR that was in the parade. It's all real weird. Look, is it something that I love the idea? I don't love the idea of this. I love the idea of honoring the military. That's why we have 2 days honoring both the fallen members of the military and the members who have served, right? We have Veterans Day, we have Memorial Day. And we should all take time out and we should pay homage to the military. That's something that we should do on a regular basis. But the idea that Trump wants his military parade so he can stand there and look over it, I find kind of weird. Again, appreciation for the military is one thing. Trump wanting to imitate France because look at all the pretty jets seems to me a little bit weird as well. Is it, however, the end of the world? Is it something where you look at it and you go, this is destroying the fabric of the republic? No. No. Is it a waste of time and money? I kind of think so. Is it something where, you know, we actually need to do it? Is it something that Trump is doing for his own personal gratification? Kinda. But is it the end of the republic as we know it? No, but it doesn't matter. The Democrats naturally are going crazy because they'll go crazy over anything. Representative Jackie Speier from California, she says that Donald Trump is clearly like Napoleon.
What's your reaction to that idea?
I was stunned by it, to be quite honest. I mean, we have a Napoleon in the making here, and I believe that we have so many issues around the world in terms of preparing for wars that are ongoing and wars that may be, you know, in the offing because of what's happening in North Korea, that I would say that it's really a waste of money. And I think everyone should be offended by his need to always be showing. He's truly Napoleon-like.
Okay, come on. Just silly talk. Okay, and then Jeff Flake gets up yesterday on the floor of the Senate. We discussed that President Trump had said the Democrats, or he joked, the Democrats were participating in treason when they didn't clap for him in the middle of the State of the Union, which, as I said, was a dumb remark. He was obviously joking. Jeff Flake, who is not running for re-election in the Senate in Arizona because he would probably lose, he has now made it his mission to go on the floor of the Senate every chance he gets and say things about Trump so that he can presumably primary him in 2020. Here is the senator from Arizona.
I wish I could stand here today and say that my words of last October have been proven wrong, that I had been unfair to inveigh against the daily sundering of our country, that I had been mistaken about the personal attacks, that I had exaggerated the threats against principles, freedoms, and institutions, the flagrant disregard for truth and decency. I have seen the president's most ardent defenders use the now weary argument that the president's comments were meant as a joke, just sarcasm, only tongue-in-cheek. But treason is not a punchline, Mr. President.
Okay, so, you know, again, is this over the top? Yes. Is it, listen, should Trump have said any of that stuff? No, but the idea that Trump is degrading the republic beyond belief. Okay, the election of Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton was the worst choice ever. Okay, remember, all the way back, forget about what Trump has done since that I like, all his policies. The election between Donald Trump, a guy who's manifestly character-free in many ways, and Hillary Clinton, the most corrupt politician in modern American history, that was not a good election. Okay, if we're going to talk about stuff that degrades the republic, however, stuff that has real impact on the republic, we can't start with Trump saying stuff about military parades or suggesting that Democrats were treasonous for not clapping for him. As I mentioned yesterday, Democrats said for years that you were treasonous if you did not sufficiently support Barack Obama's agenda. They said it over and over and over. They suggested the Tea Party were actual terrorists for not supporting Barack Obama's big spending agenda. All of that was stupid. None of it made any sense. But nobody said at the time that this is the death of the Republic. They say it because it's Trump. And of course, Democrats are going over the top about all this stuff because this is where they think they're going to win. They think they're going to win by just crying not normal over and over and over. Joe Biden did this as well. Joe Biden comes out and he says that Trump is a joke doing everything that Vladimir Putin ever wanted.
This is the first president to make a full-throated, unvarnished attack on the entirety of the FBI. What do you think they're thinking in Moscow? This is doing everything that Putin ever wanted. I just marvel at some of the things he says and does. Like, what, 2 days ago, anybody didn't stand up and clap for him was un-American and then maybe even treasonous? I mean,
they say it was tongue-in-cheek. Democrats can't take a joke.
Well, let me tell you, he's a joke.
No, he's a joke. So Biden obviously wants to run in 2020 as well. Remember, Joe Biden is the guy who got up in the middle of the 2012 election cycle and said Mitt Romney wanted to put you all back in chains. Or if that's not the definition of treason, you know, if that wouldn't be him calling Romney a traitor, I'm not sure what would be. That he wants to enslave his fellow American citizens. It's an astonishing claim. So, you know, Democrats are claiming that Trump is destroying the Republic. But who's really destroying the Republic? Who is really making the institutions of the Republic less than credible? Well, it really is not Trump so much. It really was the Obama administration.